Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. On this episode of the CookieCast podcast, it's the Darkest Timeline podcast. Me talking me stuff for probably like an hour or something. Stuff from the week. Not a lot of stuff from the week. You know me. I'm sure I can drag it out. Games, movies, TV. That is all there. I can promise that. So stick around if that's what you're here for. Everything in between. Before we start, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave us a review where you can leave reviews and share the podcast around. Right, now that's the business out of the way, let's get to the meat. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the Darkest Timeline. Hello. It's working. Which would suggest it wasn't a moment ago. Which it wasn't. So, how are you doing? Are you well? Like always, I have to work on the principle that you've said yes, and we can move on. So, gotta be the shortest podcast list ever. So strap in for a 3-hour podcast. That's how this works, yeah? Anyone else getting tired of that joke? Feel like I use that joke a lot. I've got 3 things from the week. Some TV, some movie, some games. Which might sound like a lot. Trust me, it's not, because by Friday, which is 3 days ago, I had nothing. Was it a jam-packed weekend? Let's find out together. So, Saturday. Saturday was shaping up to be... Do you ever have those times where everything laid out in front of you at a certain point in time is designed, not necessarily designed, but could have the possibility of being a super high stressful situation? You're in a situation, you look at what you've got to do, what you've got to get through, what you've got to achieve on a particular day, and you go, that has the possibility to be super high stress type deal. That was Saturday. So, Saturday looked a lot like this. My youngest daughter, birthday party. Middle daughter, birthday party. Eldest daughter, climbing and friend round, possible sleepover, all of that. So, my son was also going to go with my youngest daughter to her party. Kind of one of those things where the shortest version is where Leanne goes, the boy goes. This puts me in the driver's seat. Literally in the driver's seat. I have to play taxi man. So, that then looks a little something like this. Take youngest daughter, son, Leanne, to birthday party, drop them off. Take my eldest to climbing. Take middle daughter to birthday party. I'd already arranged that it was fine to leave my middle daughter at the birthday party to then double back to collect my eldest, to double back again to collect my middle daughter, to then get across town to collect my eldest friend, which by that point the whole situation had turned into a sleepover. So there was that to also take into account. So, I'm like, right, okay, we've got to get from one side of town to the other side of town on a Saturday afternoon. That's nigh on impossible. We need to leave plenty of time. I gave us 45 minutes to get across town Saturday afternoon to the busiest area of town on a Saturday afternoon. I left 45 minutes and said, I think we're going to be pushing it. I think it's going to be a stretch. I think if we're lucky, we might only be a little bit late. We got across town in 14 minutes. We ended up sat in the car for 15 minutes, just chatting, killing time. Then we walked the long way round to get into the place where the party was. She was still 10 minutes early. I'm like, don't know what's going on here. So, it was one of those things. Once I dropped the young ones off, that was basically the last I was going to see of them until late afternoon. For want of a better way of putting it, and this might sound kind of harsh in a way, but that was like, I didn't have to worry about any of them anymore. They were with a parent, blah, blah, blah. So, my concern then switches to the older two. Get my eldest set up. She's set up. She's sorted. She's ready to go. So, I get my middle daughter to the thing. It takes us 40 minutes to get there. We're sat in the car. We go in. Like I say, I've already teed the parents up with the whole situation. Look, is it okay to leave her? Once kids reach a certain age, it's kind of expected that you leave them at birthday parties. Certain places, maybe not as much. When I spoke to the parents, they were like, hey, most people are leaving them because they're that age. So I was like, cool. Double, triple checked, however you want to say it. That was that. My daughter goes running off to play before I've even finished the conversation with these parents. Cool. Groovy. Job done. I turn around. I walk out the door. Walk to the car. Get in the car. I'm like, hey, things are going great so far. I've got all three groups to where they need to be. On time. Early. Some would say. I am crushing it. Get in the car. Pull out of the car park. Pull out of the complex bit. Pull out onto the road. I drive down the road and I go, never did say goodbye to my daughter. I was literally, if I hadn't have been actually physically driving, I'd have been banging my head on the steering wheel. I thought about doubling back and going back in, like getting parked up, going back in. I was like, I'm going to waste time here. And I think I've been too lucky getting over here. I can only presume the traffic's waiting for me. I was like, that was a really stupid thing. But I was just going through it all, ticking it all off, thinking I was doing well, thinking I was crushing it. First pitfall, really. So I was like, damn it. I get across to climbing to get my eldest, and again, 10 minutes to get back. I'm like, this is strange. This is unheard of. This is not possible. I get across there and I'm like, well, now we've got like all this time to kill. So I'm saying to her, I'm like, you crack on, do your climbing stuff. I think there was a point where she was like eating her lunch. She had lunch and stuff. So there was all that. I was like, right, we now have to go. So I was like, let's get everybody in the car. Which is what we did. And again, set off to go and collect my middle daughter. Again, completely unheard of. We get across there in a matter of moments and arrive early to collect. I'm like, what is going on here? This is just not a thing. And it's not like I'm parking the car outside of the place. The car's parked 5-minute walk away. I'm like, this is mental. For 20 minutes, my middle daughter didn't even realise that we were there. This is nothing new. As I said to her at one point, I was like, I don't think I said it to her. No, I was saying to somebody else, I was like, I once went to a Christmas play, watched the whole thing, took plenty of pictures, left. She didn't even know I'd been there. So, no surprises that she was oblivious. In the end, I was like, look, to my eldest, I was like, if you want to get to your friend in the timescale that we laid out for your friend, we kind of need to go. This party is technically finished. I think they're doing it is finished, but you can stay as long as you want kind of system. You're going to have to pull the trigger. We're going to have to go. So we made her aware. She had oh, you've got 10 minutes left sort of thing. So gave the 10 minutes. And I was like, right, we really need to go. We go. So we're leaving. We're leaving said party. I am like, hey, I am crushing this situation. I am crushing it. And it's always in my experience, at the point in time that you truly believe you're crushing it, that's when you get crushed by it. So all I hear is, I didn't know you'd left. I was like, no, I did realise that as I left, I did realise that I didn't let you know I was going. I'm very sorry about that. Which then ensued a list of things that not knowing I'd left caused a problem for. And every single one of them was like a tiny little fist doing a uppercut to the gut and putting the gut in the back of the throat. Every time it was like, and this happened, pooh! And then this happened, pooh! And then it wasn't like she'd fallen over and hurt herself. It wasn't like there was a major disaster. It wasn't anything like that. It was, I was going to go to the toilet and I couldn't find you to tell you that I was going to the toilet. I was like, okay. And then she was like, I was going to go out to play. I couldn't find you. I didn't know where you were. I was like, okay. Every time, it was just like another twist of the knife. I'm like, man, I am not crushing it. So that was it. So get back in the car. Do a drop off for podcast alum Edward. Dropped Edward off at home, not far away from where the party was. Made a lot of sense. There you go. You are now home. We need to get across town, and we've got 20 minutes to do it, kind of thing. Let's go. Again, get out on the road, and it's just clear. It's clear. It's a Saturday afternoon, mid-afternoon. I was like, tell you what's going on here. It's super sunny. It's very hot at the moment. So every single person has got in their car and gone to the beach. So if you want to drive around York, go nuts. If you want to try and get anywhere near the coast, you are a braver man than I. We get across, pick up my eldest friend, we come back home. I'm like, okay. There was a point in time I thought I was crushing it. Then I wasn't crushing it. But we're here now. And that's kind of that. Not actually realising that that's just the start. Because the thing that's gone unnoticed is this is like first sleepover. Like, my daughter, my eldest, has had people round. And that's that. You know, they come round for so long. And then eventually you hit the, hey, do you want to come for a sleepover? And apparently that was a very exciting situation. And that was that. And I'm like, we just got to get home. Once we've got home, everything's fine. And we get home and everything's not fine because I then start going, what now? Got a child in the house that's not my child. I've already been, not crushing the day. So it was, okay, you need to sort out where you're going to sleep. You need to pick a movie, get your snacks, get your drinks, all of this. And then, I know, or at least I think I do. I think I know my children. Apparently, they want you to say bye to them when you leave places. Who knew? I think I know my children. I think I know how to deal with my children. Situations like where you go to see a film and 90% of the way through the film you remember it's a 2-part movie and you go, shit. There are those things that you know about your children. You know how to deal with them. You know how to get the best result possible from what is essentially bad situations. When you add a child into the mix that you don't know any of those things. Like, what do other children eat? Because my children don't eat the way other children eat. Because you're led to believe that other children just eat, chicken nuggets and chips. Those kids that just eat, those ones. The last thing you expect a nowadays child to say is, I don't care what we have to eat as long as there's a good amount of salad. And the way you do things with your children and different to how anybody else does things with their children, but at the same time you're then trying to work out where you can find a middle ground. And you're there going, we do things like this, how do you do it? Similar but different. Cool. Want to give me a clue? So we muddled our way through that. And then you've got the delicate balance. And the delicate balance is, when is bedtime? Now, I work on the principle that my eldest is at the age now where on a weekend she has earned the right to stay up a little bit later because she can have a lie-in on a Sunday. She's been at school all week, all of that stuff. So if her bedtime, simple theory is if her bedtime is 8, she can go to bed at 9, which opens up a world of possibilities for her on a Saturday evening. You can do this, you can do that, you can watch this, you can watch that, you can play this, you can play that. A lot of stuff because all the others go to bed much earlier, so she's got this window of time. Add the sleepover element to that, and you've got to push that out. You've got to go a bit further. But I don't want to send another parent's child home with that child there that's going to go back to school tomorrow has had 3 hours sleep. Good luck. I want to send the child home and say, it was a little bit of a later night, but still got a good, solid sleep. So I was like, right, I think we're going to have to go with the hour rule. So for every incremental hour past Saturday night bedtime, that's different levels of severity. So, look, it's going to be exciting, it's going to be fun, it's going to be whatever. I'll give you an extra hour. But really, that's bedtime. Okay, fine. So I'm expecting 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Past 12 o'clock, I'm not going to be able to do much about it. Because, it's past my bedtime. So I'm like, you really do need to be sleeping. I'm going to give you until 10. That's 10 minutes away. Get yourself settled, get yourselves in bed, get yourselves settled down nicely. 10 o'clock comes and goes. I'm like, I can hear noise. I'm not, what do I do? How long do I leave it? By 10:15, it was silent. I'm like, guess that's that then. I'm just like, okay, cool. Guess that's that. I had to deal with the dog. I went in to let the dog out. For his last wee of the day, and found him like in the mix of this, like everybody's asleep, including him in the middle. I'm like, this is gonna be fun getting him out. So he decided to jump on everyone on his way out the door. And then I had to get him back in and get him into bed and stuff. So that was fun, but it didn't disturb anybody. So, and that was that. I went off to bed going, all in all, yeah, it was what it was in the end. I think, other than the issue with my middle daughter, I think I had to put it mostly in the win column. Nobody died. So Sunday rolls round. Now Sunday was a series of things that needed to be done, had to get done, no problems. So I'm like, right, the dog needs walking. The dog needs walking early because, like I said, it's hot, and past a certain point he can't go out because it'll be too hot. So I was like, all that needs doing early. Leanne wanted to run. I was like, you need to get out the door early. Do it while everybody's having breakfast, all that. And again, what do other people's children have for breakfast riddle begins. Turns out, breakfast is very much breakfast. On a Sunday, we have, I don't know, is it still a special breakfast if it's every Sunday? I don't know. So it's like cereal and pastries. And I was informed by my eldest, don't worry, my friend loves pastries. It's like, okay, I wasn't worried. So again, we muddled through another meal. I'm like, right, I'm going to shower, I'm going to get the dog out, job done. Oh, are you going to walk the dog? Yeah. Can we come with you? Yes. It'll be a long walk. It'll take a long time, and it's quite warm out there. We don't care. Okay. We go out, we walk the dog. Plan is, get the dog back, take my eldest friend home. Then I was going to take all of the children to do an activity. I was going to take everybody swimming. And then my eldest had to be at a thing. So take her to a thing. And that would be pretty much the majority of the day done. The little guys can watch a movie. Chalk up another win. So we start heading home. The dog walk has taken longer than I would have liked it to. Take that up with the dog. We start heading home. On the way home, I can hear a conversation starting behind me. And it's one of those childlike conversations of, oh man, when do I have to go home? When do you have to go home? Which eventually boils over into asking me when our friend's going home. And I'm like, well, I was going to take your friend home when we got home. Oh man, I wish I could stay. Yeah, I wish you could stay. Oh man. I'm like, I get back and the little guys, the younger ones, not the the middle and the younger. When's the friend going home? I'm like, I was going to take her now. Why? We wanted to stay. We were finished to stay until tea time. And I'm like, but I was going to take you guys to do an activity. I thought we could go swimming. So my eldest friend's like, I love swimming. Okay. So place a phone call to the parent of the child. I know I said I was bringing your child home, but we're all going swimming. Can she come with us? Yeah, that's fine. Cool. We all go to the swimming. It takes us a while to get in because the combination to make up the different tickets, and this one's a member and that one's a member and this one. Do we have to pay for this one? And that one's free. And eventually get through the doors. We go and get changed. Everybody goes off to get in the pool. I was doing something. And I'm like, for some reason I'm the last person. I can't think what it was. I was doing something with a locker. Everybody's deserted me. I'm like, whatever. I'm walking down the changing rooms. And like an idiot, in my head, I said, I think this has gone well. I think this has been not too bad a situation. Nobody's died. Nobody's got injured. I think this might go down as a win. Oh, well, that's good. I get in the pool. Everybody's having a great time. They're all splashing around. They're all swimming. Fantastic. I'm like, right, I need to get, you got to get in the pool. Properly in the pool. Get your hair wet, get under the water. So I swim off all the way down the end of the pool. I turn round and I start swimming back. I am met by Leanne. We've got a problem. There's been an incident. I'm like, we have been in this swimming pool for 30 seconds. How could there have possibly been an incident? The moment this is said, I'm like, firstly wondering how it's humanly possible for this to have happened. And secondly, I'm like, what incident? Immediately I go to, oh my God, somebody slipped and banged their head. I'm like, hang on a minute. If it was a bad situation, there'd be a lot more, crying, screaming and wailing, and you wouldn't be here telling me there's been an incident with, the children all the way down there. Like, as the boy had an accident? The brain's going a mile a minute. I'm like, what incident? My eldest was swimming away from her friend and has inadvertently brought her foot up and has caught her friend in the mouth and has twisted one of her teeth round. At which point, now for anybody that doesn't know, I am not a fan of teeth. That is a broad statement that I don't really want to go into. I'll just say this. I don't like teeth-related things. I think I've mentioned this before. Go back and look it up. I nearly vomit in the swimming pool, which would have been fun. I'm holding my mouth. I'm like, I'm like, what do you mean? I think she's caught her in the mouth and one of her teeth is twisted. What do you mean one of her teeth is twisted? I was like, hang on a minute. Adult tooth, baby tooth. Don't know. Fantastic. I think you need to go. Where am I going? I think you need to go and phone her mum. Okay, so I get down there. I'm like, what's gone on? One of my teeth is twisted. Okay, don't show me. I'm like, right, come with me. We need to go and phone your mum. We get out of the pool. She's like, I'll go and look in the mirror. Okay, I'll go and get my phone. She comes, I'm like, is it a baby tooth? She's like, I don't know. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. I find it very hard to believe that you've twisted an adult tooth. But, so I'm getting my phone and all of a sudden I hear, oh, I think I've twisted it back. Okay, that's good. I phoned the parent. I'm like, hey, I saw you minutes ago. I had to go and collect swimming stuff and all this. I saw you a short time ago. There's been an incident. This is where I'm going to phone a parent and tell a parent that I have broken their child. I didn't break the child. The child is broken. Not a phone call I ever wanted to or thought I would be making. Hey, your child's broken. So I'm like, look, this is the situation. This is what's happened. I am reliably informed that the tooth is now back the way it should be. I think it's a baby tooth, but I don't know that for sure. Here's your child, speak to her. There's a conversation ensues where it basically lands on, yeah, it's basically a baby tooth. She's like, right, I'm off back in the pool. Okay, I take the phone. Hi. Yeah, it's fine. She had a load of baby teeth. They need to come out anyway. It's probably for the best. Don't worry about it. See you in a bit. Fee you. Off back to the pool. We have some time. The boy gets out. He's little. Can only do so long. Spend more time in the pool with the kids. Out, dry, dressed, car, home, lunch. Take the child home. Take my eldest to where she needs to be. As I'm leaving the house, I put a film on for the other guys, and I'm like, that's that. At which point, Leanne decides this is the best possible time, the best conceivable opportunity to remind me that it's Sunday afternoon, which means that it's Monday, today, and I've got to go to work. And I go, what? And at that point, everything just starts cascading down, and I'm like, where did that weekend go? And like I say, for a lot of it, I'm like, we can put this weekend in the win column. And at other points in time, I'm like, I'm a terrible parent, and I'm a terrible... I don't know what to call when you look after somebody else's child. Babysitter? It's not that, is it? Because I broke a child and I, upset one of my children. So I'm like, so like I say, didn't have any content, and then I've just given you a blow-by-blow account of the weekend, and some of you are going to say, yeah, I don't think you still had any content. The good news, not about the weekend. The good news that I can tell you is this. After the weight blip, where I put on nearly half a stone in a week, and still to this point in time have no idea how that has happened or had happened. I think it's 3 weeks ago now. I can safely say that A, that weight has gone, and B, I am now back to my lowest weight in the last few years. I've said this week is the week to cross that barrier, cross that bridge, get back. I don't know what I'm getting back. This is the lowest weight I've been. The lowest weight I've been for a long time. Don't know what I'm getting back. But I think I'd like to cross this barrier, get past this weight now. And like I've been saying previously, I was keeping you updated on the good and the bad. You take the good, you take the bad. So that was just a little update on that one. That's basically the week. I know I've quite literally rambled, but we can talk about TV. TV-wise, me and Leon both agreed to watch a TV programme, which is unusual. It's not like us to fully agree. Usually it's one of us is like, I want to watch this, and the other is like, fine. And strangely enough, the TV show might seem odd. We've been watching the Arnold 3-part documentary on Netflix. It's broken down into the 3 stages of his career. Episode 1, they're about an hour long. Episode 1 is about Arnold's career as a bodybuilder. Episode 2 is Arnold's career as an actor, and episode 3 is about his career as a politician. We've watched the first 2 episodes. I think the idea was to watch the 3rd episode this evening, but due to my working out commitments, that was not possible. Shortest version is you've got to give Arnold Schwarzenegger props. He always wanted to be the best at whatever he was doing at that time, and he achieved that. I think as long as you don't look too closely into how he achieved that, then everything's fine. As long as you take it as surface value. I have no major issues with Arnold. I have enjoyed a lot of Arnold's movies. I like that he's still going, 70 whatever, 76 or something. I wondered if they would address the steroids in the first episode, and they did. Admittedly, they played it down, but they did address steroids, and I thought that was a real one of those. There was absolutely no way they could be genuine and not address it. But on the other hand, there was no way they were going to be able to say, yeah, that body was almost 100% created by steroids. But I think if you're realistic, you have to accept that there's no such thing as a natural bodybuilder. It's steroids on top of steroids on top of steroids on top of steroids. That's it. That's all it is. It's the person that can put the most steroids into their body that is the best bodybuilder. And obviously it goes into other things. It's that will also transcend into the film career. It wasn't like he stopped being a bodybuilder and stopped being a big muscular man. It's not like he stopped doing steroids when he stopped being a bodybuilder. Honestly, I imagine there's still some level of steroid going into his body at this point in time. So the first episode is the bodybuilding stuff. I'm glad they addressed the steroids. I wasn't surprised they played it down. And that was kind of that. Episode 2, Arnie wants to be the biggest actor in the world, and how he went about doing that. Some interesting stuff. Some of the stuff that I didn't know, didn't realise, being that he didn't need the money. I was under the impression that he went from bodybuilding to acting and was probably, I need to work, I need to be an actor so that I can, live. Not the case. He was, like he said in the thing, he was a millionaire before he even started looking into being an actor. It was all real estate. He bought property early on in his career, and that then paid off big time for him. Goes through his marriage. I made a comment about his marriage, which I don't think I'm prepared to repeat. But you can't argue with the man's success in bodybuilding, the man's success in movies. You know, movie-wise, there are points in time where he's had the biggest films. You know, Conan, Terminator, Terminator 2, True Lies. Even Batman and Robin was on the list of big movies. Twins, that's... obviously there was the not so successful ones. Junior, Last Action Hero, didn't do as well as I thought it had done. So he just went through his career now. His career went from strength to strength. Now he had a bit of a blip in the middle. And like I say, episode 3 is supposedly about his political career. However, we have not watched that one. So I'll probably update you on that next week. Definitely worth a watch. You know, I love a documentary. I've just finished the Conor McGregor one. I do love a documentary. Genuinely do love a documentary. I watched the film. That I saw a trailer for a little while ago, and the trailer made me think, yes, that is a film I want to watch. Then the film came out and got not great reviews. And I said, that's a real shame, because it looked quite good. Premise of the story looked good, so on and so forth. Next thing, like a lot of films these days, it went on to Prime. And I'm like, well, that is perfect. A film that I wanted to see, gone on to Prime for free, relatively soon after it's been released. Perfect storm in my book. So I watched Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. Principal being is Afghani translators being embedded with the military for when the military do things like house clearances or when they're trying to take down like where they think weapons are and things like that. They need a translator to talk to the locals. Right at the beginning, the team's current translator gets killed. They need a new one. Jake Gyllenhaal is like the head of the team, and he picks out a guy who is a mechanic and interpreter. As it unfolds, the interpreter's a little bit more savvy, knows a little bit more about the streets. Turns out he's part of like this big, I think it was supposedly like a heroin production family, and he's part of this family, but he's kind of disowned the family side of things, but still knows a lot about that world. One of the most interesting things was that there was a guy that popped up at one point. I was like, is that Johnny Lee Miller? And it absolutely was. Playing some kind of like, I don't know, general, colonel, I don't know. Higher up in the military chain. I mentioned at some point that I'd been watching this film and I said that it was Jake Gyllenhaal, and the response I got was, oh man, Jake Gyllenhaal, I could really do without him because he's in absolutely everything. And I went, yeah, I get that. I don't mind him. You know, I don't mind. I think he's good in stuff. But I also felt that. I was a bit like, oh man, again? He's in this? He is in absolutely everything at the moment. And it's been that way for a while. So, I'm like, hey, you know, the critics, they're very rarely right. Yeah, you know what's coming. However, in this case, not a great film. The number one thing I noticed the most about this movie was I can only presume that Guy Ritchie sat down and watched Lone Survivor and then said, hey, wouldn't it be interesting if there was a film about Marcus Luttrell going back to get the guy that saved him? Because that's basically what the film is. And the whole time I was like, man, this reminds me a lot of Lone Survivor. A lot. And then a guy turned up in it and I was like, he was in Lone Survivor. And I looked it up and he was. And I'm like, come on. That is way too on the nose. And it was literally that. Spoilers, by the way, but all of Jake Gyllenhaal's team gets killed. And all that's left is Jake Gyllenhaal and the interpreter. The interpreter gets him back to his base and then disappears. Jake Gyllenhaal's got to go and find him. That is not too much of a spoiler because all of that was in the trailer. It's just a what-if scenario. If Marcus Luttrell from Lone Survivor went back to get the guy that saved his life. It's that. It's like, oh, the bit we didn't see in Lone Survivor, let's do that. And let's get a guy from Lone Survivor in it to really, tongue-in-cheek that one. I was like, come on. One of the more entertaining bits about it is so far towards the back end of the film, when he's decided that he's going to go and get this guy, he started talking to like a mercenary who's supposedly going to help him out. And it was freaking Homelander from The Boys. I'm like, that's Homelander. Shortest version. It just wasn't very good. It was too obvious what it was supposed to be. Like I say, there's absolutely no way of watching that film and not seeing that it was almost like a sequel to Lone Survivor. Not a lot happens either, in like an action sense. If you watch Lone Survivor, the first 40 minutes, nothing really happens. There's a reason for that. Because for the next hour, it's pretty much non-stop. Pretty much non-stop. That first 40 minutes can seem real dull. But the payoff's worth it. In The Covenant, I think like 2 things happen, like 2 bits of action happen. The rest of the time, it really is quite dull. And it's not what you want from a film like that. It was quite dull. It was a proper like, this is a bit boring. It's a bit boring. And you were waiting for something to happen. And then you just kept waiting and nothing really happened. And then at the end they were like, there's a hidden message here and here's the message. It's like, yeah, but this was a fictional film. It wasn't based on a true story. This film was fictional. So then trying to make a point at the end seems a little crowbarred in. Seems a little, not genuine. It seemed like a strange thing to put right at the end. I'd say a 6 out of 10, but honestly, at the time watching it, I'd have probably gone 5 out of 10. It just wasn't amazing. Computer games wise, I'm still plugging away at Breakpoint. The content I was really looking forward to is not delivered, is the shortest way. I don't want to be saying that. And I still feel that there is an aspect of value for money in that content when you pay £9 for something that should have been 33. I'll tell you this much, if I'd have paid 33 for it, I'd have been asking for a refund because I feel like it's a rinse and repeat for 3/4 of it. I'm playing the Operation Motherland stuff, which I had high hopes for, and the shortest version is it just hasn't delivered. It's go here, do this, then go to a different place and do the same thing. Annoying. Just annoying. It's really put a real downer on the end of the game for me. The only thing is, saying it's the end of the game is one thing. I've still got quite a lot left to do. It it is falling a little bit into more of a chore than I'd like from a game that, honestly, I was really enjoying previous to this. So I feel that's a shame. For other computer game news, I have still been playing Red Dead Redemption 2. Unfortunately for me, it does just feel like the first time I played it. It feels like a chore. There are so many mechanics in that game that do not make any sense. And I can't believe that I'm the only person that sees it. I cannot believe that I'm the only person that's like, I really don't want to have to walk that distance. Can I not just run? I really don't want to be on a horse that's walking. I really don't want to look at a massive map that has no ability to fast travel at this point in time and for free. So I'm going to have to ride across what is essentially a wasteland to get to the next place to probably end up getting killed. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that it was a horribly broken game, but it's not. It's just the terrible choices they made on the mechanics of the game. I can only play, I'm playing it every day, but I can only play about 45 minutes, and then I'm like, I need to do something else. So then I put Breakpoint on and play that, and feel like I get punched in the face by 2 games at once. There's a part of me that hopes it's going to get better, and then there's that part of me that's obviously played it before and knows it's not. I'm like, what exactly are we doing here again? Anyway, at time of recording, it's Father's Day on Sunday. Coming, not been. And I'm hopeful, got my fingers firmly crossed for possible new game. But we shall see. That's the podcast for this week. Sorry if it was a bit rambly. Sorry if it felt like, I don't know. Some people will say I didn't have any content and I dragged it out. And those people are people. That's it. I'm going to catch you next time. So there you go. What do you think to that? Another one done. Another week gone. Another podcast in the bag. Other ways of saying that this podcast is finished. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the podcast. Before you go, click the like button, subscribe button, click for notifications, send the podcast to a friend. What else? Review. Leave a review. That was it. Check out the website, thecookiecast.com. That way, there you can get in touch with us. Variety of different ways. Podcasts, email, YouTube, social media. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough for this one. I'm going to say bye, and I'll catch you next time.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to Cookie Cast.